Buddy. Happy March. Happy Tuesday.
4th.
Let's do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. For the many ways in which you work in our lives, oh God, we give you thanks on this cloudy day. Help us to remember to bring light into the world through our interactions by doing something good for ourselves and for our neighbors. Continue to nourish us, give us strength to continue to reach out to the hurt and the places that we can. Pray all this in your holy name. Amen.
All right, thanks. Let's enjoy some lunch, and then we got a great speaker today. All right, I know I'm a touch early here, but I figured I'd get through some business items and give our speaker a few more minutes if he wants them. So I got a few different things to rattle off here. First off, I just want to bring your attention to a few items on the calendar. First up is March 21 and 22 is the district convention in Mount Pleasant. I think Gary wanted to say maybe a few words about that.
Yep. Thanks. Who's ever been to a district convention for Lions? Right, a few of us. District conventions are held every year. Our district is 12 county area and goes from the whole west coast of Michigan and down to Ann's house. And then all the way over to Portland. And this year, Cheryl is the district governor, as you probably remember, and the leader for the whole district. She's been my governor for a long time.
That's the hardest job.
At least she's tried to be. So this district convention, which is in 2 weeks from this weekend, Friday night, there's a social event, and it's in Mount Pleasant. We're holding it in conjunction with the district that's east of us to try to give the opportunity to meet some more folks and Lions that are outside of our club. And so there's a Friday night social where we actually they're flying in a comedian from Minnesota, who's a great comedian. So it's really a social night. If you stayed overnight, it would take the hotel. We're in the hotel, the Comfort Inn and Suites. But the big day is Saturday. And normally, when you have a district governor and the convention, the home club is the club that does all the work for it. Cheryl didn't want to ask the club to set up the convention because we're here in Grand Rapids and it's in Mount Pleasant. So she had the second vice district governor, who is expert at setting up events, do that. Even though Bob is also great at setting up events, we didn't want to put that on his shoulder. But we would love to have some attendance for the day. It's only an hour and 15, an hour and 20-minute drive from downtown. And on your table is an agenda for the day with the guest speaker is International Director Bert Nelson and his wife Pam from Minnesota. And he's a great speaker. He's a funny guy. He even has his own joke book. So he's kind of like a Mark Oberlin in terms of telling jokes, but his jokes are probably just a little bit cleaner than Mark's. Jerry Ober. Not Jerry Ober. No, they're not Jerry Ober jokes. And the day is really filled with, Cheryl really wanted to fill the day up to make it all worthwhile. Down there, the session of breakfast in the morning, and the wife, Pam Nelson, is going to speak on that, of her experiences being a director and going around the country and the world. Reading Between the Lions is a program that's probably new to everybody. And that is a screening that is done with children on their reading ability, and it diagnoses where the reading difficulty is, and can then, we have the programs to help them improve their reading. So we do that often in conjunction with KidSight training, which is the vision training that we do with the machines. So that's a great program that's going to be, that was created by Dr. Bob Hohendorf, who's a Wyoming Lions Club member. And he actually his profession as an optometrist was, reading training. So actually goes around the world, teaching that. Then we're also gonna have the Ball for All, which is not down there, which is the small soccer ball that we brought to the United States that has noisemakers in it, that's for visually impaired kids. Rise of Mount Pleasant, which is a service project. We're gonna assemble donated items for the area. And then Bert Nelson's gonna speak at the noontime. After that is a short business meeting where they're gonna elect the new officers for the district and retire Cheryl. And then partly while that's going on, for those that aren't in the business meeting, the Ukraine soap making, which is actually pretty interesting. And the lady is from the Ukraine.
She'll
And
sell soap. She'll sell her soap also.
Yeah, she'll sell the soap, but also show the making of it.
And the profits from all the soap goes back to Ukraine to buy little heaters for everyone.
Right, I don't know if you've seen the stoves at all. They make stoves that are about $150 for the stove that they can actually heat their house and cook on. And that's, again, provided by Lions. Then the best part is the Foggy Mountain Spirits Company. They're gonna have distilling and mixology session with tasting. After that, ties right in with this, is the explaining artificial intelligence for Lions Club growth. So maybe we'll get into some of that today too. If you want to come and stay for dinner, then the dinner is there and everything is done by 9 o'clock. So you could do it in a day. If we could get a couple carloads, it'd be great to have representation from our club. And sign up sheets are there. I'll put out another notice via email, but you're all here, so I just thought, encourage you, if you could manage the day, to come up and attend. You will learn a lot and you'll have a lot of fun, which it's worth your time. Also, the club,
March 16th, the cutoff for food.
March 16th is the cutoff for food. And up there, the club has always paid the registration for our members. So up there, the registration is $20. So if you're gonna sign up and you wanna check off what you want for the meals, whatever, then the club will reimburse you the $20 for the registration fee. Thanks, look forward to seeing you there.
All right, thank you, Gary. Other important items on the calendar, as we kind of alluded to, March 24th, which is a Monday evening, Monday after the convention. We're gonna do kind of like a town hall, if you will, on Zoom. And really what this is designed to do is, as the board goes forward and thinks about our next fiscal year and planning surrounding that. You know, we've done Survey Monkeys in the past, and then, you know, we kind of get lackluster responses. So we thought we'd just do a Zoom town hall where we just kind of lay out some things we're thinking about and basically trying to poll the members of the club and see what direction we should go, or if we should change anything or not change anything at all. So anyway, mark your calendars, 8 p.m. It'll be online on Zoom, but that way we can kind of facilitate just a few, or hopefully most everybody. And if you know you can't make it and you have a question or a comment or anything to make, you can just submit that to me ahead of time, and we will bring it up at the meeting. Yep.
Do you want me to record it and send it out?
That'd be great. That'd be great. Okay, other dates to just keep in mind. Annual dinner, June 10th. Watermark again. Drive for Vision, Monday, June 16th. That's in the books and on the calendar at the golf course. I think there's soon to be some literature coming out regarding that. And then let me see what else. I also want to mention, I have raffle tickets I still need to sell. I've probably got 60 left. $10 a piece. Lions Foundation of Michigan. Winners $5,000, and then they pay the first 10 places or so. If we sell all these, half the money we raise, these are $10 a piece. We got 100 tickets, so $1,000. If we sell all of them, the Lions Foundation of Michigan turns around and sends us 500 back. So it's kind of a built-in fundraiser for us as well. So see me if you are interested in any of that. I gotta submit them by, I think, May 1st. So we're 8 weeks away from that opportunity vanishing. I also wanted to give a kind of a shout out. Brad is here today, and I don't know if everybody knows Brad Tucker. He's relatively new member, he's got a red badge on. Brad has taken over the eyeglass recycling, basically the pickup and transportation side of our club. And he's quite literally has been doing that all on his own. Bob Younger recently kind of stepped in to say he'd help, but I just wanted to give Brad a round of applause. And thank you. And although Bob Younger, I think is gonna help now, I'm sure he would welcome others that, and this is really just driving around to mainly the local eye doctor's offices and picking up used glasses to then take to the recycling facility. So if you got some extra time on your hand and want to help Brad out, I would just encourage you to reach out to him.
Brad, how many sites do you have that you pick up from? That we,
I think there's 53 total. Look at my list.
oh,
So,
I gave Bob, maybe 20 of them are on the east side.
so if you had 2 or 3 others, it would help
Yeah.
doing it, yeah. And then it's not at a set time or anything that you have to pick them up, or just when the business is open.
I typically just wait for them to call, say, hey, we have a ton of glasses here. and Get to them in the next couple of days.
Okay.
yeah, thank you for your work, Brad. Any other items for the good of the club, Kelly, service? No. Anything I'm missing from anybody? Okay, with that, I'll turn it over to the tail twister. I don't know who wants to do it. Ed? All right, Ed is the tail twister for the day.
I had my tail twisted to do it. So I'm assuming everyone has their pin. If you haven't, just put your hand up and hand me $1. And I don't know if anybody has any happy bucks. Ben,
You gonna flex?
I will.
$2 bills. This is for the pin and the happy flex. I don't like. So that thing, my daughter, who is 14, got her braces off today. And is stoked, super excited. So it's a good day enough.
It's a good day when dad likes it when a 14-year-old daughter is stoked. That's good. Anybody else? Any? Mr.
Chairman, I just came back from 12 days in Morocco on a global service week, Lions Global Service Week, where we were able to, we had 10 of us involved with the vision part of it. There was many other service projects that were done. Mark and Kathy Oberlin were there. Also, our newest member, Dr. Jay Crank, was on that, and they will be giving a report on it when they get back, because you don't want to hear from me anymore, but we did have a great time. It was busy. The Moroccan Lions were phenomenal. It was interesting being in a country that is 98% Muslim, and we were treated spectacularly. I mean, it was, we talk about kindness, very kind to people, and very safe, but we saw a lot. And we didn't bring glasses with us because their Lions there will provide all the glasses for those that needed it. And we saw a lot of people that, half the adults we saw needed cataract surgery, and they actually have a mobile, a truck that has 2 surgical units in the truck that the Lions run, and it goes to the cities where the people are. So it's pretty interesting to see a little bit difference that is done in other countries than what we need here. We have more access, they don't have as much access, so the Lions go to them.
Great. Good luck, Tom. Any other? Happy bucks? I don't see any guests. Right, so. It's got to be too bad.
White chip. Yeah, I don't know, there's 15, 20 red chips.
Okay, it's a green ticket.
No.
Oh, my God. 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 8, 9. That's you?
That's me.
Okay. You can pay me later. $9, okay.
Yeah.
Kelly's gonna do it now for us.
4688.
That's him, probably.
I better hold that
Oh,
up.
my God.
Gee. All right, now if this white thing comes out, I don't know. I know. Oh my gosh.
Lucky day.
It's a clean. I gotta. All
You better go buy a ticket.
right.
Wow.
Just like those numbers.
Now we have to figure out how much is actually in there.
Just turn that into these tickets.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
This is your lucky day.
Down. So today's speaker is Drew Veach from West Michigan AI Lab. So he's a local expert on all things AI, I guess I would say. So warm welcome to Drew, and let's do some learning. If you don't usually say
I've never had to use a microphone because I'm always typically really, really loud, so. Thanks for having me out, I appreciate it. We're gonna talk about how to use AI to manipulate data and molecular structures. Just kidding. Sorry. John actually asked me out to talk about AI, kind of do a 101 class, if you will, to introduce people to it. Just a little bit of background. I know we had a lot of different people in the room, a lot of different knowledge bases, I guess, with AI. So I'm gonna try and make it entertaining for everybody. Some of this might be pretty basic for you. I apologize for that, but it's always nice to know how other people are using it. Where I found probably the biggest thing for me is people that use ChatGPT, people that use some of the same tools. I just talked to Jim earlier. Learned a whole nother tool. So there's always knowledge around this, always learning, and it's always evolving as well. Again, my name is Drew. I have owned businesses, I have run businesses. I am currently the senior account manager at a place called BizStream. We are a digital agency or a web development shop that builds websites small to big. We work on mom and pop shop type websites all the way up to Herman Miller, to PPG, to enterprise level, international level websites. I also am the co-lead for the West Michigan AI Lab. That is a monthly meetup group that meets right here in Grand Rapids. We move around to different areas just depending on what company wants to host us. And we have speakers come in, and it's usually the second Wednesday of the month. And we have different speakers talk about AI, and it's a conversation. It's very conversational. You can ask questions. We have people from all different walks of life. It really helps introduce you to AI and where to use it. We have business people come in, we have retirees, we have individuals, artists, musicians. We had social workers in on the last one and got into a really heated, great conversation. It was a great conversation about using AI. Also am the host of the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast that literally just launched at 3:30 this morning. We've got 8 episodes in the can, and once a week, we're gonna release the episodes. At least for now. That might turn into twice a month because it's a lot of work to do a podcast, which I'm sure some of us know. It's a lot of work. So just a couple avenues to learn more about AI. Now, when we talk about AI, there's a lot of different tools. There's a lot of different uses. Which ones are the best? Which ones are not good or it's very subjective of what works, what doesn't. You really have to use them to kind of understand what you're trying to do with it and what you want out of it. I'm sure you guys have heard of ChatGPT. It's usually the biggest one. Claude, Gemini, Midjourney. Those are all different types of tools and tool sets that you can use. They all serve a different purpose. I like to show this graphic because I used this for about just a hair over a year ago about new AI startups that were out that a lot of people knew at the time. This is a year and a half ago, and it's become much more popular and much more accessible now. This is how many is out just as of last year. And I'd be honest with you, I probably need to update this as of today because there's probably another page worth that have come out. There's, I mean, thousands of companies now that are doing it. You hear a lot about the valuations and how they're in the billions and how they're gonna transform and revolutionize everything. So it's hard to know, where do we jump in at? Where do we start using it? How can I get comfortable with it? And I'm trying to make it as least scary as possible. That's why I run the AI lab. It's a community to really kind of ease people into it. It's nothing scary to do. Yeah, go ahead.
Could you just basically say what it is?
What AI is?
I'm a dummy.
Perfect. I'm glad you teed me up for that one. Here's the superpower of AI and what it can do for you, what it actually does to your question. If anybody has any questions, just feel free to throw it at me. I'm used to having conversations more than presentations. Number one, it's automation and efficiency. This is what AI really excels at. It's taking automated, repetitive tasks, such as like data entry or like chatbots for customer service and streamlining it down. It's process optimization. Think of it like a supercomputer / assistant. It reduces the human workload and it's going to cut costs and improve some of the accuracy that happens.
Drew, can I assume that picture was AI generated?
I was just gonna say, I was gonna say at the end, this was actually generated through AI. I try and use as much AI stuff in even our podcast, our whole intro, music is all AI generated because it's such a powerful tool. Data analysis and insights, AI can process an enormous amount of data. It identifies patterns, it generates insights faster than humans can think. It's a processing power of a computer. So it's valuable in finance, it's valuable in healthcare, in business intelligence. Story that recently broke news was a woman, there was an AI powered mirror, just a standard mirror, but you can walk up to it and you can talk to it. And it'll actually has a camera in there and actually look at you and it'll tell you, your makeup's off, or here's some makeup tips. Think of it like Google built into a mirror, where you can interact with it, you can talk with it, and it can tell you tips and tricks, it can give you the news. What it ended up doing, she using it in a user group, there was, I think, 100 different people using this, testing this product out. She was using it every day and talking to it about her hair and her makeup and asking about the news. It started recording, it takes snapshots of you, because it has a camera in there to look at you every day. About 3 months into it, it said, I believe you may have a thyroid issue based on what I'm seeing in your face and your neck. And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm just asking about my makeup, my lipstick's not right. She ended up going to the doctor because it suggested you may need to seek medical attention. Didn't give her medical advice, just said, hey, I think I see something. Went to the doctor ran some tests. She had a thyroid issue. It was precancerous. The doctor ran and said, I would have never been able to test this had you not come in and said specifically, I think I have an issue and I think here's where it's at. It's because this thing saw her and took a data analysis of her every day and noticed the slight changes in it. Your doctor's not gonna be able to do that. He doesn't see you every day. Like, guessing, he's not gonna see you every day. So to see that kind of change and have something calculate that micromillimeter difference in there or different texture or color and to notice that, that's huge. And that's just, we're in the tip of the iceberg of what AI can do for us. Another one, we were just talking about this earlier, language processing and content generation. We can do a lot with language translation. You can add an enormous amount of PDFs. You can take websites, you can add a ton of data to it, say, hey, I need this translated into Korean. I need it translated into Spanish. And it's got some pretty good fluency depending on what the tool you're using. Some are a little bit better than others, but it's got some really good fluency that comes out of it, of making it right with the accents and right on as far as what the language you're looking for. This is super helpful when you're building international websites. Ding, ding, that's what we do a lot of. We use this a lot to do some translation. It's helpful for content generation just in general. I use it to write emails. I use it to write blog articles. I use it to help me with upcoming client meetings. Okay, guilty. I use it in my car a lot, and I'll show you one of the features that I use in a little bit with just on my phone. And if I'm walking into a meeting with a client, I have said, help me understand who I'm meeting with in their company and what their biggest pain points are right now in the market. And it'll tell me, they're having an issue with going to market with e-commerce and they're looking for an e-commerce type solution to sell more of their product. I walk in and say, hey, John, nice to meet you. I heard you guys in the news and just talked about coming up with an e-commerce solution. I'd love to help. I've had won deals by doing that. It's just that information at your fingertips. Now, we have information at your fingertips called Google, and everybody's used that for years at this point. Let me get to the difference between content and context. This is where AI takes the ball and runs with it. I did a scenario, it's really hard to see, and I did it kind of on purpose because I want to show you that how much information that I was getting. I typed in, where is a warm place to vacation? I typed that into Google. And on the left-hand side, after I got through about 5 or 6 ads, I finally got to a section that said, Hawaii and the Caribbean are nice places to go because it's warm weather. Answered my question, I guess. It's not bad-ish. But when I type into the same thing into ChatGPT, which I use all the time, and it knows my preferences, it takes, again, that data and it catalogs everything that I have fed it before of what I've talked to it about, what I've added in, or all the data that I've added in there. It came out with, oh, based on your preferences for sandy beaches and budget-friendly trip around $2,000 per person, here are some great options. Now, Mexico, it's affordable, it's all-inclusive resorts, stunning beaches, plenty of activities. The budget breakdown for 5 to 7 days, which is typically about a week vacation that I take. Your flight's gonna be about $300 to $600, depending on departure time. All inclusives are about $1,000 to $1,400. That's a whole different answer. That is much more in context with, that's what I'm looking for versus, I still gotta figure out, great, where am I going in Hawaii or the Caribbean? That's kind of vague. So this has much more context that's in there. And I can give it more context. I can go back in and tell it, you know what, I'm not a big fan of Mexico. What else do you have that's in the Caribbean that's not Mexico? What else is on the east side of it where I can go? And it'll say, hey, why not try these places? It'll give me more information. So it's the context. It's almost like you're talking to another person versus talking to a machine. So I get this question a lot. Will AI take our jobs? And I have to say, absolutely. It's not quite that simple. I would say not necessarily. AI is only a tool. It's only as good as you use it. It's only as good as it's built. Is it going to take over some jobs? It will take over some. It's going to enhance and elevate and augment what we do in our daily lives. Writers right now are kind of freaking out because they're going, I'm getting replaced by a lot of AI technologies. If used incorrectly, yes, you can come up with something, it'll help you write, but I think it's going to augment the writer more than it's going to harm them of good writing versus AI writing. The AI writing is still not there yet. We're still not there. Will we be at some point? Absolutely. But technology always has a way of evolving, augmenting our existence, augmenting what we do as humans, and bringing us to the next level. Nobody's clamoring to be a newspaper typewriter or a newspaper printer or a typesetter at this point. Why? Because the digital age happened. We had digital media that replaced all of that. So it elevated us as a people. Switchboard operators, not a big field right now. Why? Because everything revolutionized with digital phones. So it's going to bring us up as humans and really augment what we can do. I would say embrace the change. I mean, just like anything, AI or not, embrace the change. There's always, I'm sure in your field, changes came out all the time. Every 6 months, you probably had to learn something new that had to be implemented, or what's this new medical thing I need to know just to be cognizant of what's going to be happening, what's going to be coming up. It's with anything. AI is the same way. It's just going at an accelerated rate. So how do we incorporate AI into a workflow? How do we use it? Where do we get involved? What do we do with it? Couple of key considerations that you have to understand. Number one, understand the tool's capabilities and limits. Now, I say that when most of people in here probably have never used any kind of AI tool. Just remember, it's just a tool. You still have to, it's about the quality you put in, is what the quality you're gonna get out. You still have to serve it up, and you still have to refine it, read it, reiterate. It's just one step in that process. It's not the, I'm gonna type a sentence in, it's gonna take care of all my bills for the next month. It doesn't work that way. Have a clear objective. What's the goal of using the AI? What am I trying to do? Am I trying to write something? Am I just tinkering with it? Am I trying to get information or news out of it? Am I trying to build a research paper? What's my goal of using it? That's gonna keep you on track for when you use it, because I can tell you right now, you're gonna go down a big rabbit hole if you're just tinkering with it, which can be fun. It can be fun, but you wanna make sure you understand what you're trying to use it for. The more context, the better the result. The more you can define it, the more you can input, and I'll show you some prompts so it makes sense at the end here. The better the context of what you're trying to get out of it that you tell it, the better the output you're gonna have. I tell people, it used to be when it came out about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, using ChatGPT, it was like talking to a toddler. You have to be very explicit, and they give you a little bit of information back. And I would say probably 3-4 months later, it was like talking to a teenager. You give it some information and it goes away and you never see it. No. You give it information and it comes back with a better answer, but you still have to keep giving it more context, more information. Now it's like talking to a university professor who is got a doctorate degree, where you give it a little bit of information, it's going to give you a lot back, and it's going to ask you a lot more questions to refine it down. So it's becoming really, really smart, and that's where a lot of that data quality comes in too. There's things called hallucinations. That's when it lies to you. How do you know if it's lying or not? Number one, use logical sense, because if it tells you that planes fly upside down or do loop-de-loops, that's clearly not correct. Number two, you can always Google it. You can, if it gives you a fact that says blindness is up 60%, when you're asking it for, give me some news on community blindness and where we can help. Well, blindness is up 60%. Is that true? You can literally ask it back. Tell me where you got that information from. Where did you get that stat? And it'll repeat it back. I got it from USA Today in 2024. Again, I'll show you some examples, because I'm trying to go through this a little bit faster so I can show how it works, because it makes a lot more sense. Client privacy and your privacy. That's one of the other big things that you want to be cognizant about is don't, and I was just talking to Jim about this earlier, don't put sensitive data in there. Don't say, here's my tax filings from the past 5 years, or here's my social security number, where do I use this? You don't want to do anything. Again, it's on the internet. Don't anything that's public on the internet, great, but don't put it on the internet to be public. So you want to be careful with your privacy. That's where I get into responsible uses and AI safety. Is if it ain't public, don't add it to the tool. Don't violate any company policies if you have any company policies. And bottom line, just recognize the boundaries and limitations of using AI. Again, I know I'm going through this very fast, but I will.
So an example might be if we have Microsoft on our computer.
Yep.
Then ChatGPT may already be uploaded on our computer to use.
A version like that, yes.
Yeah.
Microsoft is going to be a different tool.
Okay, what's their?
Microsoft is going to be, what is it? Copilot, that's right. I don't use Copilot.
I was gonna say, I'm in that space.
Yeah, you are totally in that space.
Yeah.
Which AI tool do you primarily, ChatGPT, Gemini, Bard?
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up.
I think you should go right home.
So the main ones that I typically use for business development is going to be ChatGPT. It's going to be these right here are my favorites, if you will. ChatGPT is probably the best one that I use. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people prefer Claude, some people prefer Gemini. The top 3 up there are what's called text text apps where you can just type in, hey, I'm looking to write an email, I'm looking to write a paper, I'm looking for information on.
You can speak it too.
You can, and I'll show you that too, because I use that probably more than anything right now. Perplexity is a really good one for research. If you're looking for something where you really need cited sources and some deeper knowledge, that is a great one to use. DALL-E is a subset of ChatGPT. That's an image generator. Two other ones, Lovable, no pun intended, but I'm really in love with this app right now. It's a text to app generator. And it's interesting because you can type in, I built websites within a matter of a couple of prompts, which is just a couple of sentences, couple of commands is all I'm putting in. And it's built me websites, it's built me mobile apps, it's built me a ton of different things, anything you can dream up. And it's a really cool tool. They got a free version of that. Try it. It's incredible. It's incredible how powerful and how easy to use. That's the other thing. I'm not a web developer. I don't know coding at all. And that's what's so cool about AI is it's so accessible. We just had this conversation at the table about years ago when websites first came out, it revolutionized everything. This is digital media. This is a really cool age. It was hard to use. It was kind of clunky, but it was still neat. We get into AI and now there's no development needed. There's no coding needed. You don't need to have a heavy background of how to write programming to make these things happen. Now they're text-based, they're voice-based. They're becoming easier and easier. And the point is to make it easy and accessible for everyone. That's why it's going at such an accelerated rate, is because it's so easy to use. If you're building presentations, Napkin's an awesome one too. They got a free version of that. That'll take text and build it into graphics that you can then copy and put into like a PowerPoint or a Google Doc. So I want to show you some stuff on ChatGPT. It's going to be some basic stuff. Why do I like ChatGPT? It's efficient, it's cost effective. There's a free version out there. I'm on the, I think it's $20 a month plan. You can do some fun stuff with it. I use it for a lot for blog writing, content creation, for different, like I said, emails, or if I'm writing a paper or if I'm writing a case study to go on our website, I'll use that a lot to help me refine my writing in there. It's great for ideation. And I would say, and I'll show you in a couple minutes here, I would say it's almost a therapist for me right now with the voice feature. Which I probably shouldn't be using it for that after I told you, keep everything private. And now I'm dumping like my fears into this thing, but there's a lot of resources online about how to use ChatGPT or really any text-based application like this. A lot of good prompts, a lot of good, here's how you can add it in, here's how you can kind of frame how you want to prompt this and ask it different questions to get different results. And now I'm going to show you in 2 seconds how to use it. Get specific with your request is number one. You want to tell it what kind of tone, what's your tone that you want it to get out of it? Is it professional? Is it casual? Is it funny? Is it not funny? Is it, I want to sound like an accountant when it comes out to write this email? Give it as much context as possible. I'm talking to someone at a networking group and they're into manufacturing, they own a manufacturing company, and I want to send them an email to tell them more information about what we can do at our digital agency. The more information versus just write me an email so I can talk to somebody. Well, that's a whole different output you're going to get. And then evaluate the results. You always want to read through it. Obviously, it's just a tool, and reiterate. Add in different words that you want to, so it sounds more like you in the end. How accurate is it? That's about how accurate it's going to be. Anything in is what you're going to get out. It's getting better, but it's still, you have to make sure you put in the right contact.
Chocolate ice cream in, chocolate ice cream.
Yes.
That's it? Okay.
So let me do this. See at the top here, these are all AI tools that I use. computers so you can hear it. Second. Always when it's live will work. Hey, Amber. Hello? You there? I figured as much. It's go time.
Sounds good. Hi there.
Hey, can you tell me about small business tax?
Sure. Small business taxes typically include income tax, self-employment tax, and potentially sales tax, depending on the business structure and location. It's important to keep accurate records of income and expenses, and you might also have to pay quarterly estimated taxes. Anything specific you're wondering about?
No, but I'm at the Grand Rapids Lions Club right now. Can you tell me about them?
Grand Rapids Lions Club, established in 1919, is dedicated to serving the community, particularly in vision-related causes. They hold weekly lunch meetings at the University Club on Lion Street. For more details, you can visit their website.
What would I talk to them about today?
The Grand Rapids Lions Club is focused on community service and vision-related causes. You could discuss topics like supporting the visually impaired, local volunteer opportunities, or even ways BizStream can partner on tech solutions for their initiatives.
Shameless plug there. Thanks, Amber.
You're welcome, Drew. Enjoy the event.
Thanks.
Let me know if you need anything else.
Okay. I named her Amber. That's not her real name. I just named her that because I just thought it would be cool and I made her English. That was it. So I'm constantly talking on this at home and my wife Renee is always like, "Who are you talking to? Who is this girl?" So, but I also have it connected in my car. So this is exactly hands-free and talk about accessibility for visually impaired. You can talk right into this thing and it can have a conversation back with you. And I'm telling you right now, this is the worst that it gets. This is getting better and better every day, every week, every month. This is getting better. They got some new models that are coming out that are going to dramatically improve on top of this. The neat thing about this is I can tell it, hey, I got to write up an email that has to go out to somebody. Can you write this? And I want to make sure I include da-da-da-da-da-da. It'll what am I trying to say? It'll write the entire thing up. She'll ask me a couple questions. How do you want it to be phrased? Do you want it fun? Do you want it professional? I want a professional email. Make it short though, but I need something so when I get back to the office, I can just fire it out. She'll write the whole thing up. And the nice thing is the whole conversation is logged. So I can, this is everything I literally just talked about. And I can copy it, paste it, and send it as soon as I get back. So it's a hands-free way and a very quick way of tackling tasks. And that's what this is trying to be built for, is to manage those tasks. Go ahead.
I live with a very paranoid wife who thinks they're listening to us. Everything you say in the room, somebody's gonna be listening, and ads show up after we've had a certain conversation.
Yep.
Should we be concerned about that?
No more than what your phone is already listening, or if you have Google Alexa in the room, or Amazon Alexa in the room, they're all listening. Everything is already gonna be listening to you. as it is. That's why when you have those conversations about mountain climbing, then all of a sudden you watch TV and it's all these ads about mountain climbing gear, and you're like, where did that come up? It's constantly trying to tailor to what your preferences and what your, what am I trying to say? Yeah, all your interests are. Now, the flip side is, you're gonna get commercials either way. And this is where I get very optimistic. Do I think the robots are coming? No, not necessarily. I say with an asterisk, but at the same time, you're gonna get a bunch of commercials anyway. You might as well have them that are towards your interests. So to have benign conversations like that, where it shows up on tailored ads, I think is an appropriate, better fit than, why am I getting dog food commercials? I don't even own a dog. So apparently I talked about a dog at some point with my wife, because now I'm getting dog food commercials. And it's like, it drives me nuts. But then all of a sudden I'll get something about, oh, there's a new AI podcast or a new something, because I was talking about that too. Well, now I'm interested in that. So it's kind of that give and take. What are you willing to risk or give? And it's not, as long as you're not talking about super sensitive data again, are you willing to allow it to listen to you, to have it more tailored for you?
I'll point that out.
Yeah, that's a hard sell though. I'm just gonna tell you that, that's hard to
I'm
do,
so
but that's kind of the give and take of it, is everything's listening anyway. And you can't take your battery out of your phone to kill it, because even if you turn your phone off, it's still listening.
Really?
Surprise, surprise, yes. Yes,
Was that Chat GPT what you just said, or was that Sora?
that was Chat GPT.
Really?
There it is. Yeah.
Now I know what I can do.
So if I can do the same thing by typing. I can say, write me an email. Science Club. About AI. How I'm excited, and I'm terrible at typing. And it doesn't matter. That's the beauty about this, is you can mistype a bunch of stuff and it reads it in context. And it goes, oh, I get what you're trying to say, that you're spelling lions, L-O-I-N-S. Clear, well, that might be a different word, but you get my, you get the point that it's gonna say, oh yeah, that's the GR Lions Club is what you're trying to say. Just like you were talking to somebody. I'm excited I am to present. Here's my email. I'm excited to join the Grand Rapids Lion Club for a presentation. It's a great opportunity to connect with the group and share insights. Brief mention of what I'm talking about. I appreciate the chance to be part of your meeting and look forward to engaging discussion. That doesn't really sound like me. I'm a little more casual, but it's a great framework. So I'll just say, all right, make it more casual. Probably. Really looking forward to presenting Grand Rapids Lions Club. It'll be great to meet everyone, share some insights. Appreciate the opportunity. Excited for a good discussion. Let me know if there's anything I should know before you. See you there. And it's so much easier. So when you're staring at that blank screen and you go, oh, I gotta write this out, regardless of what it is, it's so much easier. Even on the free version, you can just jump on and go, help me write this email. I'm trying to get these points across, or I'm trying to write this blog article, or I'm trying to do this. And it'll build a framework for you that's incredibly easy. So is it anything to be afraid of? No. Just use it responsibly. Just be careful what you're telling it. Pretend it's a stranger that's incredibly intelligent. You're not going to tell them your life story. You're not going to tell them the list of your fears. You're going to talk to them, hey, can you help me with this project or this task? And this is like 1/1 millionth of what AI can do, as far as you can get into robotics, you can get into data analysis, you can get into, there's so many different avenues of where AI is being used. It's such a broad topic right now. Is there any questions? Anything else?
About the negative side of it, where you create deep fakes and you think you're looking at a real person, but it's totally made up.
Yes, and that's getting harder and harder to detect when you start getting into a lot of video and a lot of pictures. I mean, you've probably seen the Trump ones already. They're all over LinkedIn and everything of him fighting the guy from Ukraine, and it looks incredibly real. It's going to get to a point where you're gonna start, I mean, we're already to it, but where you're questioning everything, even if it is 100% true, because we have to get to what's the credibility? We're in the creative stage right now, where kind of anything goes. You're gonna see more policies around it that are gonna start happening. You're gonna see more use cases to where you're gonna have to prove if it's real or not, or watermarking. That's kind of coming down. They just don't know how to do that yet, because the hackers are always essentially one step ahead, but that drives kind of some of the creativity at the same time.
I'd say the corollary to this, like your question about the salons here, think of it like when they invented the printing press. It was impossible, you know, if it was on paper, it was printed, up until this point, you know, a lot of effort went into that. And as mass production of that, you know, this is mass production, right? And my recommendation is trust very little that you see on social media. And as we develop, you know, as Drew's talking about, like, developing those tools, verification, and we get back into being able to trust, you know, well-sourced, you know, groups that we understand the motivations of. It's right now, we got motivations for people to building a lot of these things, and it's a lot of unfettered access to tools. So use those critical thinking skills.
So if you think of it as a super memory bank, it remembers everything you put into it. So we're using this for Lions clubs around the country, for marketing and for building new clubs and membership. And it used to be you had to put in Lions Clubs International. Now you just put in Lions, and everything that says related to Lions, it remembers whatever is being said anywhere. So it takes all that information and it uses it. So and then we've just been doing that since September. In our office, we take retinal pictures, you know, pictures of the back of the eye. And in Michigan now, the Lions Foundation has a camera hooked up with artificial intelligence, reading the retinal picture. And what it does, you know, I've looked at 10,000 retinal pictures in my life. So when I look at one, I'm comparing it to the 10,000 that I've seen.
Exactly.
All right, it's comparing it to millions.
Yep.
And it does it in an instant, and it's able to detect if there's an anomaly and if it needs to be referred. It doesn't diagnose it, but it detects if there's something that's not correct. And we can do that where you can have anybody take a picture with a handheld camera of the retina, and it sends it through the system. And we're doing that in Michigan. The Lions of Michigan are doing that.
Yep.
So you go to an area where there's a lot of diabetics and all that, and it's catching stuff way earlier.
And not only is it evolving to where the technology is getting better at catching it, on the other end of that, that data of it's processing 1 million, comparing it to 1 million, that's adding on 10,000 more every day.
Yeah.
So that's just growing. So the data, the database is growing, and the technology is growing to review it and analyze it.
Yep. Like with the thyroid thing.
Exactly, exactly.
In every medical area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're using it in, right here at Banff with the cancer.
Yeah.
When they do a PET scan and then boom, they just look at that and they compare.
They've got a lot of cutting edge. I've talked to a couple people over there, and I really want to have them at the meetup group or on the podcast, but they can't talk about it publicly yet. Because they're knee deep into some very proprietary stuff that they're building over there, which makes sense with what they do. But they are really bleeding edge, using bleeding edge technology for a lot of that stuff. So if you want any other resources, these are 2 email newsletters that I subscribe to. One's called Superhuman, the other one's called The Neuron. Great newsletters. They have a lot of technical stuff in there that I don't even get. I pick and choose because there's every article that comes out every day. You know what I'm talking about? There's 1,000 different things in there. So you kind of pick and choose what you want to read out of it. But it's a great resource to kind of see what's coming up, what's happening, how to use stuff better. They have tips of the day of how to build better prompts. So it's just a great way to stay abreast of it. And obviously you can always follow me on my podcast or in the meetup group. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Not AI generated, but old school manufactured. to members. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. This is perfect. I won't spill it. Helping educate us. I get to that. I'm gonna do this. March 18th, next meeting, wear green.